All right, welcome to Detroit Lions News Podcast on Jason Sports Detroit. I'm your host, Joe Chap. Obviously, we're talking about the Baltimore Ravens and the Detroit Lions because they will play on Monday Night Football, which is going to be the toughest test yet for the Detroit Lions. Because when we talk about Baltimore, okay, do you realize the Detroit Lions are 1-7 against Baltimore all time? Pretty hard. And the last victory was in 2005. And so we all know Baltimore's been a good team and Detroit's been a bad team. But, I think the last time Detroit really had a really good chance to beat Baltimore, it was 2021. And Justin Tucker hit that game winning field goal from 68 yards out. So it gets tougher than that because the guy that you're going to be going against in Lamar Jackson is one of the best players in the NFL in terms of the mismatch that he creates. Now, when we know about the Baltimore Ravens is they have Derrick Henry, they have a good offensive line, they have tight ends. They have two tight ends that can beat you, and Mark Andrews and the other guy. Forget the other guy. My bad. But they have guys that could beat you all over the field. Zay Flowers, DeAndre Hopkins is there now. So there are guys that could beat you. But when you think about Lamar Jackson against the NFC, I think a lot of people don't understand the magnitude of what happens when you go against Lamar Jackson as an NFC team. So when you look at Lamar Jackson as an NFC team, 24-4 against NFC teams. 5,590 yards, 66 completion percentage, 48 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 106.4 passer rating. The caveat here is though Jackson was 1-3 against NFC teams last year. So how do you beat a guy like this? Because look, it's hard to replicate the guy. It's hard to replicate the guy. There were some quotes that I went back, and there was a guy, uh, I forget his name. He was a defensive backs coach for the Rams. I think he was the Rams. And he said basically you can get an artificial intelligence robot and you're not going to recreate Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson is out of this world, unbelievably talented, and he can really kill you in a bunch of ways. But nevertheless, Jackson was 1-3 against NFC teams last year. And these statistics here, they're pretty damn good. I mean, these are elite level statistics. And the caveat here is not many teams see a guy like Lamar Jackson in the NFC. I mean, is there a guy like him in the NFC even close? I mean, you can say Jalen Hurts. Is he really close to Lamar Jackson? Jaden Daniels, is he really close to Lamar Jackson? There's not many players like Lamar Jackson in the NFL alone. Like, there's just not many guys like that. So when you see the statistics here, uh, it's very, very tough to think about how tough this game is going to be for the Detroit Lions. Because when you think about it from every perspective, and going from he's a good passer, he's a good runner, he's a good everything. What he could do on the run, what he could do off tempo, off schedule. Like, this guy can kill you in a bunch of different ways. He could really beat you in a bunch of different ways. And it's going to be very, very interesting to see what the game plan that Calvin Shepard has. Because I can tell you this right now. Aaron Glenn's first one, Aaron Glenn's first game plan was the best game plan that he had for Baltimore. The second game plan was the worst. Now, here's what you got to this is going to be the name of the game. I know last week we focused on Aiden Hutchinson getting pressures. We focused on pressures in conjunction. This game in particular is going to be solely won with the defensive tackles. When you think about the defensive tackles, Tyleek Williams, DJ Reader, Roy Lopez, can these guys be good enough to stop Derrick Henry? And can they be good enough to push the pocket to get Lamar Jackson off his hop? Because when you look at the teams that had success against Lamar Jackson last year, there are teams that push the pocket in the middle, forced him out to one side, because if you have contained, you can force him out to one side, and you're forcing him to make a throw. Now, if you go look at what Steve Spagnuolo does for the Kansas City Chiefs and what he's done to Lamar Jackson, it's the same thing. Chris Jones pushes the pocket up the middle, very, very hard. Lamar Jackson likes to go run out, but when he goes and runs out, he runs it. There's defensive ends that are collapsing on him, and he's got to make a quick throw. They're going to try to make him play from the pocket. That's what you try to do. Now, the last time Detroit played Baltimore, they tried to keep him in the pocket. Didn't really work that well. when your secondary can't cover well. And that's where Terrion Arnold is going to be the biggest player, because if he can't cover a guy like Zay Flowers, or DJ Reed can't cover a guy like Zay Flowers, you're going to be in a world of hurt. And if Jack Campbell and Derek Barnes and Alex Anzalone can't cover the tight ends, those will be an issue. So this is the toughest test yet for the Detroit Lions. Regardless if they win or lose, they just can't get blown out. I believe that wholeheartedly that I think they're going to lose. I don't think they're going to win this game. I would be shocked, and I'd be so happy if they win the game. But the reality of the situation is, when you go to Baltimore, it's a tough place to play. It's like coming to Detroit. Like, when you come to Detroit, you understand that you are coming into a hornet's nest. Same thing with Baltimore on a Monday night. They're blacked out with the jerseys. They're going to be a damn good football team too. And, I just look at them and I go, okay, if Detroit plays like they did on Sunday against the Bears, where they're on target, they're just boom, 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 boom. They're on target. They're playing their best of the best. They're gonna have a shot. Now, if they don't play like that and they play they played like they did in Green Bay, you're getting blown out. So this is going to be the toughest test yet, not for just one reason, not for just Lamar Jackson, but for the communication on the interior offensive line, the communication from the booth for John Morton. This game will tell a lot about where the Detroit Lions are at. And as you go through the season, obviously Cincinnati without Joe Burrow isn't looking as daunting as it once was. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, they look like they're kind of beatable. The Buccaneers, I mean, they were going to be a tough team regardless. The Vikings, we don't know what the Vikings are either. The schedule doesn't look that bad. So if you lose this one, it's fine. I would love to win the game, but you've got to realize that, like, the reality is Lamar Jackson does not lose to NFC teams. He's 24-4, and he has elite level numbers against NFC teams, and it's because they don't see him much. But the caveat here is Detroit seen him a couple years ago, and they're going to see him again this week, and it's going to be a Monday Night Football. We know how Dan Campbell likes to get the team ready for primetime games, so this is going to be a very interesting game for the Detroit Lions, and they better have their stuff ready to go. That's just all I could say. This will be the toughest test yet for the Detroit Lions team, because if they cannot, handle Lamar Jackson, do what they need to do, keep him in the pocket, and they cannot cover, it's going to be a long night. It'll be a long Monday night. So, and we'll talk about it on the post-game podcast, because I will be doing a post-game podcast after the game against Baltimore. We'll see you in the next video as we talk about more about the Detroit Lions. There will be a podcast tomorrow with James. We'll be on talking about the Chicago Bears game, the Baltimore game. We'll see you guys tomorrow as we talk more Detroit Lions football here on Jason Sports.